What is a university? A university is many things to many people. To a man standing before it, it is a monument in Missouri granite. To some, it is a place where the scientist seeks the secrets of life in a glass tube. And to many, a university means and to others brave enough to come inside, a university appears to be a meeting place for students, for scholars, and for dreamers. What is a university? What is a great university? Perhaps the answer lies at our feet.
Can we attain first place for our city by mere force of wealth and muscular energy? The best things money can buy are refinement and knowledge and art. And men of intelligence refuse to live where these cannot be found.
The early history of this university is inextricably involved for me in family and personal history. The standard of family conduct was that which my grandfather had set. Not the least of these laws was the law of public service. This original law of public service operated especially in three areas: the church, the city, and the university. The city was St. Louis. The university was Washington University. These were the symbols of religion, the community, and education. And I think it is a very good beginning for any child. And I think it is a very good beginning for any child. Very good beginning for any child. Beginning for any child.
A very good beginning for any child. For we are all children before we are men. And to make men is the primary function of a great university. What does it take to make a man of this boy? Two things: men and books. It is in books that the past is recorded. Science, wherein we can discover the laws of the universe and learn a method for arriving at decisions. Literature, wherein we can experience the feelings of all men and learn to express what is most subtle and what is most beautiful. History, wherein we can learn of man's mistakes and successes. Philosophy, wherein, as Plutarch has written, man can obtain knowledge of what is honorable and what is shameful, what is just and what is unjust, what is to be chosen and what is to be avoided, how he must bear himself with the laws, how not to be overjoyful in success or overmuch distressed in misfortune. Two things make a university: books and men. At Washington University, the student must come to know its men as well as its books. The teacher is the catalyst in the educational process. Before there is learning, he must create a will to learn. The teacher is a navigator in a complex universe. His example of accuracy and discipline creates a standard of excellence. The teacher is a senior partner in the search for truth. The relationship he establishes with his student is the metabolism of university life. Great books and great men. Tom Elliott, teaching a course in political parties. Professor Elliott has served in the United States Congress and in many government agencies in Washington. The student is learning firsthand what makes things happen in national politics. Professor Barry Commoner has recently received the annual award of the American Association for the Advancement of Science for his research in plant viruses. But he still thinks his most important task is to teach basic plant physiology to undergraduates. Nothing has more influence on a student of art than an established artist. Fred Conway is a painter of national and international recognition. The acclaim of his work throughout the world is a constant inspiration to his students. To become great, you must first see what is great. Joseph Kennedy is the co-discoverer of the element plutonium. Before coming to Washington University to teach, he served as leader of the Chemistry and Metallurgical Division at Los Alamos. The teacher of this class in undergraduate physics is Dr. Arthur H. Compton, Chancellor of Washington University from 1945 to 1953, recipient of the Nobel Prize. Dr. Compton's work in the field of X-rays firmly established the position of the quantum theory in physics. He is a pioneer in the study of cosmic rays. His contribution in getting the work going on the atomic chain reaction, which led to the atomic bomb, is known worldwide. But at Washington University, serving as Distinguished Service Professor of Natural Philosophy, Arthur Compton believes it important that students who are not science majors have an understanding of the modern world which science has helped to build. And that is the reason he devotes so many hours, both in and out of the classroom, working with his undergraduates. This is an experience a student will never forget.
Washington University's philosophy of education assumes that all students, not only science majors, should understand their physical environment, should learn how to apply scientific thinking to their personal and their civic problems. In the same way, one doesn't need here, we think, to specialize in art and classics in order to appreciate the beauty of music and literature and art and drama. The thrill of the discovery of truth, the appreciation of beauty, these are the hallmarks of every educated person.
Men and books have given him much to think about. A heavy load for one mind. Physics 211, complete problems 16 through 28. English literature 212, be prepared to discuss Pope's essay on man, the universal chain of being. Western Civilization 101, Robespierre and the Reign of Terror. Not everything is learned in a classroom. A university is a world within a world, the wonders of which must be sought out and discovered. And not all great teaching is done in the classroom. Carl Snavely is one of the great football coaches of all time. The teams he developed in the East and South were national champions. Now he is at Washington University, a forceful spokesman of the university's policy toward men and athletics.
Well, I'm mighty glad to see some new faces on the squad today. I don't know much about you new boys, but I know one thing that does mean a lot to me. That's the fact that you want to play football at Washington University. I know that you're not here to get athletic scholarships or special inducements or special favors or some ready-made easy means of attending college. I know that all of us are aware of the fact that Washington University doesn't have or doesn't permit such inducements. Your success in football will depend upon the same qualities as those that determine your success in whatever walk of life you may enter after you graduate. That, I believe, is why the people of America love football. And certainly that is why Washington University treasures it as something which belongs to the normal, bona fide members of its student body. In all my years of association with athletics and colleges, I have not yet discovered any reason, any logical reason, why an institution of learning should commit its resources to the operation of a professional entertainment program. You can take pride in the position and influence of Washington University. It is a distinguished and courageous pioneer in the establishment of a sane, sound policy of athletics for the benefit and enjoyment of its own students. I hope you are going to cherish this heritage, to make the most of it on the football field, to get the values out of it that are in it.
Another game played on Francis Field. Today, a victory. But more important, a game played for the values of playing. Consistent with a heritage. For 50 years ago, on this very field, athletes from around the world competed in the first Olympic Games held in the United States. Conductor, Professor Lee Jardine, Rhodes Scholar and Chairman of the Department of Music. Artists, distinguished members of the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra, and students of the Department of Music. The university and the community performing together. The university and the community growing together. How important this mixture of citizen and student. How difficult for the young mind to comprehend the priceless relationship of the university and the community. Mr. Perry Rathbone, director of the St. Louis Art Museum. The museum was founded through the efforts of Washington University. Its most valuable paintings are still exhibited here. Dr. Edgar Anderson is Engelmann Professor of Botany at Washington University. This great botanist is also director of the Missouri Botanical Gardens, one of the great botanical gardens in the country. Its priceless library is available to students of the university. Charles Van Ravensway, director of the Missouri Historical Society. The university and the society work in partnership to assemble, document, and illustrate the history of St. Louis and Missouri. A familiar face. His Honor, Raymond H. Tucker, former chairman of the Washington University Department of Mechanical Engineering, mayor of St. Louis. Here is a man who understands what the university means to the city.
It is difficult for one to imagine the university without the city, or the city without the university. They have made each other great. In operating a city, you see it every day. This is one of the city's filtration plants. It supplies St. Louis with water service unexcelled by any city in the world. Although built 50 years ago, it still stands as a prototype. This system was designed and constructed by Washington University engineers. Our great public school system came into being in 1848 through the tireless efforts of William Elliott, the first president of Washington University. The Federal Reserve Bank in St. Louis and all banks in the city rely every day on the advice given them by a group of brilliant Washington University economists who have developed a nationally recognized method for making economic predictions. Our smoke abatement plan, the plan we use to clear our city of soot and filth, was first drawn up and researched on the campus of the university. It is difficult to imagine St. Louis industry without the university. Everyday professional consultants from Washington University are called on by local industry to help solve their complex problems. Problems of personnel management, problems of industrial engineering, problems that can only be solved in the university laboratory. And what our city becomes in the future depends greatly on the assistance we are now receiving from the faculty of many departments of the university. The economics department is laying the groundwork for solving some of the most pressing problems through a survey of economic conditions. The School of Architecture is working with the city, planning new housing and new community centers.
The community and the university grow together. The community and the university perform together. reputation of a university travels in many directions. It travels endless pathways and reaches men of all races, all creeds, all nationalities and religious beliefs. At Washington University, there are students from 48 states, Hawaii, Alaska, and Puerto Rico. Students from India, Germany, Formosa, Brazil, Egypt, Italy, and 24 other foreign nations. These students have come to Washington University because Washington University has come to them. A Washington University engineer in Germany influenced this student to travel 4,000 miles to school. This Japanese saw the work of a Washington University economist in Tokyo. An Indian student was impressed with the work of a Washington University sociologist in New Delhi. An Israeli met a professor of philosophy in Tel Aviv. This citizen of Athens, Greece, symbolizes the increasing influence of Washington University throughout the world. For in his homeland, university scientists have awakened the admiration of the world. This is a Washington University archaeological dig in Greece. Under the direction of Dr. George Milanus, scientists and students uncovered the most important archaeological find made by anyone, anywhere, during the past 10 years. The discovery of the graves of the 7 against Thebes. New light shed on the immortal writings of the Greek Euripides. A find uncovering history 2,000 years old. A priceless find uncovered by Americans 4,000 miles from home. The sun never sets on a great university. Nor does the search for learning end at sundown. Many must come at night to find the light. Higher education is not the private property of the young or the unemployed. Not all of us had parents who could send us to college. Not all of us missed the Depression in the 30s. Not all of us knew what we missed until we missed it. A teacher in the daytime, a student at night. A mechanic in the daytime, an engineer at night. A housewife in the daytime, an artist at night. After work, 6,000 people a year come to seek higher education. To the day student studying late at the library, this is known as the night shift.
Gerald, and if you want to argue the point, you might let it go. Of course, it's quite possible our literary landscape will one day...
Non, un jour vous êtes en ville et vous faites la connaissance d'une jeune fille de bonne famille, bien entendu, et vous présentez, vous racontez les histoires. Et qu'est-ce qu'il faut dire à cette jeune fille de la...
Mental symptoms result from environmental factors. There are, for example, recent studies which reveal that a high percentage of disturbed children...
And in the morning,
are brought up in what appears to be...
they will be gone. There is a morning in the lives of many of us when the realization comes that we are closing in on the job of becoming a man. The great ideas of the past begin to take shape in terms of our day-to-day problems. The scientific laws have become formulae and methods for solving the unknown. Music and art have begun to lose their strangeness. They now commute a feeling and a satisfaction difficult to describe. We have come to know ourselves. Now we must know what we are to become. Why not a chemist? An opportunity to study in the great Lauderman laboratories the whole new field of radioactive chemistry. Or an engineer, a graduate of the famous School of Engineering, and then on to the Seaver Institute. for graduate study. Or maybe a physicist, perhaps an atomic physicist, studying under the scientists who first manufactured plutonium in the university's 100-ton cyclotron. You could become a lawyer, to study in the oldest university-affiliated law school west of the Mississippi. Or social work, the opportunity to train with over 50 social agencies in the city of St. Louis. The George Warren Brown School of Social Work, one of the oldest and best established in the country. Or an economist, a businessman, a teacher, or perhaps a doctor. This group of buildings on the university's East Campus constitute one of the great medical centers in all the world. The nucleus of the center is the Washington University School of Medicine. The classrooms, the research centers, the affiliated hospitals cover a full city block. The Washington University School of Dentistry, the Macmillan Hospital, the Oscar Johnson Institute, Barnes Hospital, the St. Louis Maternity Hospital, Mallinckrodt Institute of Radiology, and the recently completed Raynard Hospital, the David P. Wohl Jr. Hospital, the Barnard Free Skin and Cancer Clinic, a medical center made world famous by world famous men. Dr. Graham, Bixby Professor of Surgery, recipient of the coveted Lister Medal and other national and international citations. The father of chest surgery, the first man to remove a lung, proving cancer of the lung curable. Professor Joseph Erlanger. His investigations of the impulses of nerves revitalized the study of nerve physiology and led to many new discoveries. He is recipient of the Nobel Prize. Doctors Carl and Gertie Corey. Their investigation of the cycle, which is required to change glucose to glycogen, led to a much better understanding of the way the body handles carbohydrates. They are the first man and wife team in the United States to receive the Nobel Prize. Dr. William Harrington. His research of antibodies found in the blood has led to theories of immune mechanisms responsible for a number of diseases. And Dr. J.B. Brown has developed operative procedures responsible for much of the progress in the field of plastic surgery. He is a plastic surgeon unsurpassed in the world. The constant search to better mankind. The generation of the present, learning more than the past to communicate to the future. For here stands the future, and soon he will be the present and then the past. Young man, in this journey of time, what will you contribute? What will you pass on to the future? That's a difficult question. Perhaps we need help. Mr. Shepley, you're Chancellor of Washington University. What will this youth contribute? What will he pass on to the future?
That is a difficult question for the Chancellor of a university to answer, much less a young man who has just completed 4 years as an undergraduate. We really do not know what his contribution will be, but we can be very certain that it will be far greater because of the things he has learned and the experiences he's had here at Washington University. It is still too early to ask either him or me what contribution he will make in the future. But his undergraduate years have materially increased his knowledge and understanding of the world and of himself. They have developed his power to think clearly and his capacity to form sound judgments. And over and above that, we hope we have instilled in him that great desire to keep on learning the rest of his life. But the university, on the other hand, is more than 100 years old. We know what we have been, we know what we are, and we believe we know what we should be. We are proud of our past. We are proud of the many fine things that we are doing now. But what concerns us most is what we could be and what we should be. Now take our library, for instance. To a great extent, a university is judged by its library. And that is why our library is perhaps our greatest source of embarrassment. It was built 50 years ago to serve 250 students, and today it attempts to serve more than 10,000. It was built in 1903 to house 70,000 volumes. Today it is housing over 300,000 volumes, to say nothing of 200,000 documents and pamphlets. Because of inadequate storage facilities, books and pamphlets are deteriorating. And there will be absolutely no room for books in this library after 1956. Now, our library is visited by scholars from all parts of the world. And we are embarrassed not only because of the impression it makes upon these people, but even more so because of the fact that it wholly fails to meet the needs of our own faculty and students. And we have other needs. We are one of the few major universities in this country that do not have a student center. A centrally located building in which members of the faculty and the student body can meet, where conversation, reading, and other forms of recreation can be carried on in attractive surroundings. Nor do we have any facilities such as this, a building in which we can hold institutes and conferences, local or national, even international in their scope. But our most pressing need is for general endowment, producing income that will enable us to maintain academic salaries on a level comparable to that of other leading universities, and to furnish books and other equipment needed by the faculty and the student body to carry on research that is so very essential in an institution of this type. Now, we have many brilliant men and women on our faculties, but we cannot expect to keep them, and we can't expect to attract others unless we are prepared to offer them the things that outstanding scholars have a right to expect. These things we must have if we are to give to those who will be coming to us during our second century the kind of inspirational leadership and education they have a right to expect. That type of leadership and education anticipated by that wise, far-seeing founder of this great university.
Can we attain first place for our city, or hold it when attained by mere force of wealth and muscular energy? The best things money can buy are refinement and knowledge and art, and men of intelligence refuse to live where these cannot be found. The moral and intellectual progress must keep pace with the material, or our prosperity will be evanescent.